Bonjour mon petit chip, Amber here. Welcome to May. I'm not going to tell you when in May this is. We're just going to pretend it's the 1st that I'm sitting down to do this. I don't usually do TBR videos unless it's for a readathon, and I haven't participated in a readathon yet this year. That's all about to change, sort of, to an extent. As many of you hopefully know, May is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and every year for the past 3 years, I participate in the Asian Readathon, which is created and run by Cindy over on I was saying with and read because her channel used to be Read with Cindy, but now it's just with Cindy, so I just said Weed with Cindy. Anywho, sorry, I'm pulling up the thing. Like I said, this year is no different. Well, it is a little different because the announcement video for this year was posted when I had already decided on what books I wanted to read this month. I am going to talk about the prompts, the challenges, all that. Do all of the books I plan on reading fit into them? No, but I'm going to talk about those anyway. So first, let's talk about the readathon itself. The Asian Readathon is a month-long readathon, like I said, run and created by Cindy. I will also link all of the important information below. I mean, by now, if you're watching this, you either are or are not participating, so my addition to this doesn't really matter, but I needed to get it out. Okay, so there are 5 challenges and a twist. The first challenge is to read any book written by an Asian author, and every book I plan to read this month falls into that category, so check. Challenge number 2, read any book featuring an Asian protagonist. Pretty sure all the books I plan on reading this month fall into that too. 2 for 2, great. Challenge number 3 is to read any book written by an Asian author in your favorite genre. Most of the books that I'm going to talk to you about are in my favorite genre. My favorite genre, obviously you can tell, is fantasy. Most of these are fantasy. I've got some horror on this list as well, which I also do love a bit of. Challenge number 4, read any non-fiction book written by an Asian author. That is the one that I did not have prepared for this month. I do need to read some more non-fiction books, but I think reading non-fiction when it's like forced is not gonna work for me, for my brain. You know, I have to go into it willingly. Challenge number 5 is read any book written by an Asian author that's not US centric. It says these challenges can be combined if you want to make it even easier, which thanks. And the twist that is a part of this readathon every year is that each book you read should feature a character or author of a different Asian ethnicity, which is to obviously encourage more cultural diversity. So, like I said, I'm going to link below if for some reason you think halfway through the month you want to participate. There are some I'm sorry, I'm struggling so hard to talk today. I just had to stop recording another video because I wasn't. Anywho, in the Google Doc, there is a list of read-alongs going on this month. Cindy is also running a giveaway for charities supporting the Asian community. There's also a directory of Asian books. So all of that will be linked below if you are a latecomer. Anywho, let's talk about books that I'm reading in May. Because we are halfway through the month, I have read some of these already. Doesn't matter. So the first 2 on my list are The Girl from the Well and The Suffering by Pekko. I read this book in 2015 for the first time. This is one of the first books I talked about when I was transitioning into a mostly bookish channel. I really love this. Very quick read. This follows Okiku, who is this vengeful spirit who takes it upon herself to take her vengeance on child murderers. And then she meets Tark, who is the 17-year-old boy who has this demon, I guess, living inside him, and she takes a shine to him, and this is that story. Okiku is, you know, the spirit that like all of those, The Ring, The Grudge, those movies are based off of, and The Suffering is the sequel to that. Book by an Asian author, book with an Asian main character, and for the most part neither of these books is US centric. Tark is American, but most of both stories take place in Japan. Also, Pekko is Filipino and Chinese. Oh, I have another Rin book actually on my TBR, The Bone Witch. I love this cover so much. I don't really know a ton about this book, but recently someone took straight from the guidebook of being racist in the book world and somehow decided that this book was a Shadow and Bone ripoff because Leigh Bardugo invented magic and dark characters apparently. Anywho, don't get me started. So I'm just gonna read what it's about. It says, the beast raged, it punctured the air with its spite, but the girl was fiercer. T is different from the other witches in her family. Her gift for necromancy makes her a bone witch who are feared and ostracized in the kingdom. For theirs is a powerful elemental magic that can reach beyond the boundaries of the living and of the human. Great power comes at a price, forcing T to leave her homeland to train under the guidance of an older, wiser bone witch. There, T puts all her energy into becoming an Asha, learning to control her elemental magic and those beasts who will submit by no other force. And T must be strong, stronger than she even believes possible, because war is brewing in the 8 kingdoms, war that will threaten the sovereignty of her homeland and threaten the very survival of those she loves. Great. And this falls into the category of read a book by an Asian author in your favorite genre. Next is another fantasy book. Next is another reread, and it's The Iron King by Julie Kagawa. We know how much I love the Shadow of the Fox series by Julie Kagawa. I actually read this book before I was even on YouTube, period. So like what, when did this book come out actually? This book came out in 2010, so I maybe read it in like 2010, 2011, 2012. Checked it out from the library. And then when I read The Shadow of Fox, I'm like, oh my god, I've read this book. I remember this book. So because of how much I love that series, I think it's time to go back to the beginning here. I've read the book, but I'm still going to read off the back what it's about because my brain is not working today. Enter a fantastical world of dangerous fairies, wicked princes, and one half-human girl who discovers her entire life is a lie. This is a special edition? Cool. My name is Megan Chase. In less than 24 hours, I'll be 16. Countless stories, songs, and poems have been written about this wonderful age when a girl finds true love and the stars shine for her and the handsome prince carries her off into the sunset. I don't think it will be that way for me. Something has always felt slightly off in Megan Chase's life ever since her father disappeared when she was 6. 10 years later, when her little brother also goes missing, Megan learns the truth. She is the secret daughter of a mythical fairy king and a pawn in a deadly war. She loves... Oh, I skipped a whole sentence. Now Megan will learn just how far she'll go to save someone she loves, to stop a mysterious evil no fairy creature dare face, and to find love with a young prince who might rather see her dead than let her touch his icy heart. So yes, that's actually what I remember. Her brother goes missing, and she has to go into this fairy world to find him, and she finds out the truth about who she is. I think I really enjoyed this when I read it, but I trust that I will when I read it again. Is this inspired by A Midsummer Night's Dream? I don't know. I think that's the vibe I got from this. I love Julie Kagawa's work. So this is a book by an Asian author written in my favorite genre. I'm forgetting the other categories. And also, Julie Kagawa is Japanese American. Okay. So the next book on this list is Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi. I cannot get over how gorgeous this cover is. We know that I struggled with emergency contact There's a whole vlog. Oh my god, I can't get over that. But I am ready to give Mary H.K. Choi's writing another try. Have I been drawn in by another cover? I don't know, I've heard a lot. I've heard better things about this book, and I'm intrigued by the plot. If I'm let down, at least I have a very pretty book. This one follows, I know one of the main characters is like this former child star or something. On paper, college dropout Pablo Neruda Rind doesn't have a lot going for him. His graveyard shift at a 24-hour deli in Brooklyn is a struggle, plus he's up to his eyeballs in credit card debt. Never mind the state of his student loans. Pop juggernaut Leanna Smart has enough social media followers to populate whole continents. The brand is unstoppable. She graduated from child stardom to become an international icon, and her adult life is a queasy blur of private planes, hotel rooms, and strangers screaming for her just to notice them. When Leanna and Pablo meet at 5 a.m. at the bodega in the dead of winter, it's absurd to think they'd be a thing. But as they discover who they are, who they want to be, and how to defy the expectations of everyone else, Lee and Pab turn to each other, which of course is when things get properly complicated. What I like about these also is like a little bit older YA. That's one of the reasons why I don't read YA contemporary, because a lot, like in those situations, a lot of the times younger characters, for me, because this is not the age range for me, you know, I'm just enjoying what I can, if that makes sense. It's easier to vibe with the older characters, you know. I don't think what I said made sense, but this is what I'm reading next. Okay, the last two books are books I started last year and need to finish. Put them both down for various reasons. The first is The Archer at Dawn by Swati Teardala, which is the sequel. Oh, also Mary H.K. Choi is Korean American. Archer at Dawn by Swati Teardala is the sequel to The Tiger at Midnight, which I loved. That one followed Kunal and Esha, who basically, it's kind of like an enemies to lover, cat and mouse type thing. She is the Viper, this like deadly assassin. He is a soldier in the Royal Military Army, whatever, Royal Guard or something like that. After the death of the general, someone important, he basically is on a mission to find her, capture her, kill her, same thing, blah blah blah. She's evading him, yada 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 yada. This is the sequel to that. I got about, let's see, where's my bookmark? I got to like page 64, 65 before I put it down. I don't remember why I put this down actually. I think I was trying to, I was reading this during Yonsei-thon, so I think I was trying to finish as many books as possible, and I was like kind of dragging my way through this book, so I just put it down. And it's been almost a year that I haven't picked it back up. I don't know if I'm going to start from the beginning again. I might, because I don't know how much I remember from what happened. I hope I don't have to reread the first book. Once again, book in one of my favorite genre. I think, does this count as non-US centric if it's in a fantasy world that's inspired by India? Because this is also inspired by, or based on Hindu mythology, is it mythology or Indian folklore? I might have to reread book one. In the last book, I actually started, I actually restarted it, but I'm still having issues with it, even though I already put it down once. And it's Girls of Storm and Shadow by Natasha, which is the sequel to Girls of Paper and Fire, which I adored. That follows Lei, who is a paper girl. Every year the king takes 9 girls to basically be concubines or paper girls, and this is that the first book is her story within that system. Basically there's forbidden romance in there, and this is what happens after all of that. I'm on page 72, which is a lot farther than I got the first time. I have nothing to say right now. Fantasy, favorite genre, I guess non-US centric, I'm counting that. And also Natasha Nyan is think she's mixed race. She is Chinese, Malaysian, and English. So that is my May TBR and what I'm reading for the Asian readathon. If you're participating, let me know what you have read, are reading, plan to read, what your favorite book you've read so far is. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like me, feel free to subscribe. I'm sorry this was all over the place. I really am not feeling well today. All my places are down here so you can follow me and I'll follow you back. And I'll see you very soon. Bye.